Good late evening on this beautiful approaching sunset on this early spring, mid-June day in the greater Bloomington metropolitan area in central Illinois. This is Vincenzo'S Go Crypto Investing. And real briefly, we'll go over some coins, but you need to check out this American hero, Irwin Shift, right here.
Alexit. Currently, I'm in Las Vegas. I have an interesting website you might want to visit called paynoincometax.com. Hearing these stories, it's the most amazing. I went to jail for 4 years, and 4 years on parole and probation. And Peter Dorsey, I'm not making this up, told my jury they could convict me of tax evasion even if the government didn't prove the act of evasion I was charged with committing. And my conviction was written up in Journal Taxation, even they said I didn't commit tax evasion. But in any case, for those of you who don't pay income taxes, occasionally your patriotism will be challenged by these other people who want to make believe they pay income taxes out of some kind of civic or moral duty. And I always say to them, look, what's more important to you, an income tax or a Bill of Rights? You can't have both. Because the income tax violates the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment. Well, if it were mandatory, I don't want to misunderstand. I don't want you to misunderstand me. The Internal Revenue laws are okay because there's no law that says you got to pay income taxes. Incidentally, I'll be putting on a 4-hour lecture seminar tomorrow for those of you who may be around on how you can file a tax return and request a refund of every penny you might have paid in taxes last year. Because you're entitled to a refund. So anyway, I want to thank you. And I've been at this for about 25 years, and Bob is to be commended because he's done more in 2 and 3 years than the whole movement has been able to focus on this problem in 25 years. And hopefully the American public will realize that not only have they been lied to about the nature of income tax, they've been lied to about the character of Social Security, which is a chain letter, pure and simple, which is run on a chain. All U.S. coin and currency is counterfeit. It's all worthless. All we have is worthless paper and tokens in our pocket. When my father came to this country, with all the immigrants in 1902 and 1903, those immigrants had gold and silver jingling in their pocket. And now what do we have? We have lead, zinc, copper. And in a couple of years, next year, we're going to have, this is one thing the government doesn't talk about, we're going to have a $500 billion trade deficit. The average American consumes more than the average American produces. Our economy is a failure. We're the only economy in the world which consumes more than it produces. And all of our manufacturers are going out of business. U.S. Steel said if the government doesn't give them $12 billion, they're going to be filing Bethlehem Steel. So the only way that we can take back America is cut off the flow of funds to the irresponsible legislators in Washington. So I want to thank you.
Thank you. Good.
And the man was right. They fleeced, heisted, and shysted us since the income tax was put in the Federal Reserve and the IRS was created. We've been fleeced, heisted, and shysted. And these are the kind of guys that have shaped my financial minds, just like Peter Schiff right here. Watch this video. I'll have it play in the background. And you got a bunch of jabronis and salespeople and heisters and fleecers and hustlers on CNN, MSNBC, and the mainstream news fleecing you and trying to sell you a bag of goods that doesn't exist. And Peter Schiff in 2000, he called in 99, 2000. You can even find those grainy videos of him calling the tech bubble out, right? His old man was calling it out in the 90s. And then Peter Schiff diagnosed that and sniffed it out, detected it, and he subverted and averted and audibled it and profited and tried to warn people, but he was laughed at, like you're going to hear in the background here. And then he tried to warn of the financial collapse, and nobody listened to him. And now he's warning again because the problems that caused, the many problems that we had, even though it caused a global near catastrophe, they're much, much worse, times 10,000 now. And are you going to listen to the hustlers and the fleecers and heisters? Or are you going to listen to these guys like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Mike Maloney, and a bunch of other guys that I've introduced to you guys? Robert Kiyosaki, right? Just like, who are you going to listen to when you're trading and investing? and in entertainment because I'm not a financial advisor, nor do I play one on my own radio show. Are you going to listen to these hustlers and fleecers and heisters on YouTube, like Carl from the Moon and Crypto Crow and Ivan on Tech and all these scumbags because they got a lot of views? Are you going to listen to a guy like these guys with integrity and with knowledge and with education and somebody that actually cares and is trying to financially give you some education and teach you like I've been taught by these guys? Or are you going to listen to the hustlers? You guys have to make a decision as I do more TA in the background, and I'll go recap what I just did. XRP, this is what I think you're in for the next few weeks to months, is you're going to trade in this pattern where you got upper resistance in the white and lower support in the white down low. Lower support, upper resistance. You're forming a duck's beak, and you have this much room left in this pattern. Like I've been telling you since all back there, but you guys, a lot of you don't listen, right? Because you always have questions. And this is the pattern we're going to be in. If we broke north of that, or south of that, or even came close, that's when I'm going to be updating you a lot. I think it's going to break down out of this, and that's what I was showing you. I think we're coming in the next few months down to there in XRP, but you got to get here first, and you got to trade down, and it's going to take a few months. But this up until the second week of July, about the end of the first week of July, we're going to be in XRP in this pattern right here. That's why I drew that out. If it bounces up here 20%, it could crash 30%, it could bounce 20%, but you're going to be generally in here till it breaks out, and I think it's breaking down. And then Bitcoin, what I was showing you, is essentially the same thing. Zoom in, because I got a lot of bullshit on here, which I'll start deleting. But I think you're going to trade down because you're in this rising wedge, just a smaller version of the one that we had before that I sniffed out at 60,000, right? And I think you're going to break down eventually over this, and you're coming to 33,000 in the next 10 days to 2 weeks. You're going to be down at 33,000, and then you're going to drop much, much lower. And Bitcoin, I think you're coming all the way down here to 20,000 by midsummer, right? In the 4 to 6 weeks from now, as we peak in the dog days of summer, the end of summer, or the end of July, 3rd, 4th week of July, I think you're going to be flirting down here, right? That's what I was showing you. I think you're going to eventually come all the way down here by the end of July and the dog days of summer and to begin August. I think you're going to be flirting in the low to mid 20s and threatening this really quick. I'm going to play this so you can hear true people and then knowledge, Peter Schiff, and then all the hustlers in the background, right, that were fleecing.
It'll be obvious to just about everybody that we're in especially when he sees his home equity evaporate. And when you have the economy 70% consumption, you can't address those imbalances without a recession. You know, rather than the recession being resisted, it should really be embraced.